Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here. Now that my obligatory informative videos are done for the day, it's time to talk about current events in the online fitness community, and people have awared me and linked me a video from Starting Strength with Mark Rippetoe giving people permission to do curls. So let me go ahead and put on my formerly +5 hat of weaponsmithing that is transmogged into a +5 hat of speechcraft. Also lovingly known by some of you as my +5 hat of autism. And let's talk about this. And I think it's interesting because the way Rip did it so nonchalant, people are like, oh my God, Mark Rippetoe has sold out. He says it's okay to do curls. He was basically asked in the video, and like I said, I'll link it to the timestamp of the question and his answer down below. Someone had asked him, hey, are chin-ups and pull-ups and all of this stuff, is this going to be okay for arm development, or should I go ahead and do some curls? Then Mark just looked at it and said, yeah, go ahead. If you want to do some curls, it's fine. And kind of threw it down. Now, people are going to see that as an endorsement. And the funny thing is that you can tell that Mark gets frustrated with this question because he gets asked a lot, hey, is your program going to give me T-Rex arms and things like that? And I'll be the first to say that I think that Starting Strength needs a little bit more upper body work. I do have more total upper body exercises and volume in any of my novice training programs than he does. Because I think young men want a little more upper body training. They want a little more size on their upper body. Now, guys like Mark would argue that they can't get it any faster, and I don't know if that's true. I think things like delts and biceps and stuff, you can probably grow them a hair faster, maybe pecs, than what some of the programs like that allow for, because you're not necessarily doing quite as much workload as you could handle for a healthy young man. His program is generally written to include everybody. It will work for everyone, but certain demographics are going to benefit from other things. But here's what Mark always needs to remember, and what I tell you guys. You will never convince 18-year-old kids or 20-year-old kids, particularly men, boys, these are boys, you're never going to convince them that curls won't make their arms grow any faster on a novice program. You cannot convince them of that. It doesn't matter how many scientific studies you show them, how much research you show them, because it's all there. And this is why I tell guys I program curls. All my novice programs have curls in them, and this is why. You're not going to convince them not to do curls. It doesn't matter that we have multiple studies that have compared people who do just lat pull downs with enough training volume to make their back grow, who add curls, versus people who don't add curls. We've got studies of novices showing that the guys who add curls to their lat pull downs do not gain any statistically significantly more bicep growth. Their biceps do not grow any faster, like first year lifters who do enough lat pull downs. I mean, and that's not exactly a great exercise. They cannot get their biceps to grow faster once they do enough training volume to get a growth response from the lat pull down. They can't get them to grow faster by doing curls. And when we compare novice lifters who just do curls versus those who just do lat pull downs, they gain about the same amount of muscle. In other words, the lat pull down can completely replace the barbell curl or a dumbbell curl for a novice lifter. And this is, multiple studies have looked at this. Right? But it doesn't matter, because these kids will say, well, that's not true because this pro bodybuilder says I need to focus on curls, right? Or this advanced lifter uses curls and they have big biceps, right? They'll completely ignore what the research shows on their demographic, right? Like first year, second year lifters, you're not going to find evidence supporting this. It doesn't matter that you can go pull multiple EMG studies showing that both chin-ups and pull-ups, even pull-ups with a pronated overhand grip, doesn't matter that you can show them studies that EMG data shows that both of those exercises actually cause more muscle activation in the bicep than most forms of curls, than a lot of curls do, and that only certain curls even equal them. Right? Only the more effective forms of curling seem to actually equal them in terms of bicep activation. Right? You can't convince them of that. You can't convince them that when you do look at the EMG data that triceps actually do seem to benefit more from some smaller exercises when compared to the bigger presses, but biceps don't, that chin-ups and pull-ups seem to be able to cause maximum bicep recruitment, but triceps sometimes can benefit. Sometimes you'll see some of the smaller exercises for triceps will sometimes exceed heavy pressing. They'll actually do better sometimes than a flat bench, or even a closed grip bench, or an incline bench. Or the triceps, right? You can show them that, and then they want to do tricep extensions in a way that's going to hurt their elbows. They don't want to do them correctly. You can't convince them that maybe if they were going to work any part of their arm, that the tricep would be the better choice if they had to pick between the two. Because they'll be like, well, why can't you just do both? You can't convince them. You can't even explain to them that the tricep is a bigger muscle than the bicep. And if you maximize its size, your arm is going to look a lot bigger from the side. It's going to have more overall thickness to it. You can't convince them of that. They're going to do curls. So you might as well just sign off on it. And here's the other problem. Rip said, well, that's fine. Just make sure that you do them after you're finished training. Because that's the way that he feels, that they're not even really training, like a curl. So here's what I would say, and this is what I do in my programs, and this is what I would say to Rip. You're just going to have to resign yourself to the fact that no amount of experience, research, common sense, anything else will ever convince these kids that they don't need to do curls. It's not just can they do curls, you will not convince them that they do not need curls. They're going to do curls. There is no way around it. So you might as well resign yourself to that fact, and you might as well program the curls as part of their training and adjust the program to accommodate it so that they don't get extra tendonitis trying to recover from extra curls being done on top of an already effective program. Because if you take these novice lifters and you just let them throw in as many sets of curls in as they feel like, on top of chin-ups and everything else, they're going to end up getting tendonitis and stuff in their insertions down here. They're going to start talking about how their forearms hurt. Oh, my forearms hurt. My forearms hurt. I don't know why, because you're doing too much goofy curls with the wrong sort of form. In addition to doing all this other bicep work from big compounds, you're throwing in too many extra small movements that you can't recover from. You don't have the work capacity for it yet, and you're doing them incorrectly. So you might as well just teach them how to curl correctly in a way that's going to build the most size. Teach them how to curl in a way that's going to reduce their pain in their forearm, including this bicep insertion point. And you might as well program it in such a way that it's not going to cause overuse injuries because they're doing too much for that area. Right? You might as well just go ahead and do it. And that's what I do personally, because trying to explain otherwise is a waste of time. Like, it will go in one ear and out the other. You cannot convince them. So don't even bother to try. And as messed up as that sounds, they're going to do curls anyways. You might as well program them in the programs. You might as well do it because they're going to do them. But now they're going to be doing them in an unstructured manner that's not programmed into your training correctly. And then they're going to complain about their forearms hurt, or their bicep insertion hurts, and they think it's their forearm because it's down here. They think it's their forearm, and they don't realize it's that point where the tendon inserts down into their forearm from the bicep that's inflamed from the silly shit they're doing. So what I would say to someone like Rip, you just have to resign yourself to that fact. You have to accept it. And I don't necessarily think, and I understand why he did it, it's because he gets pissed off and frustrated at it, and he's older, and he's an old curmudgeon, and he gets pissed about it. And I can understand that. He's reasonably pissed at the stupid-ass question. But they're going to do curls anyways. And you can just take that attitude, that's fine, just do them after you're finished training. So you do your training and then you do some curls. But again, if you don't structure them, what you're going to end up happening is that these kids will have an arm day. They will throw a damn arm day with 15 sets of curls into your program, on top of your program, and they're going to do forced reps, and they're going to do running the rack because Larry Scott did it, and they're going to run the rack and do triple, quadruple drop sets and forced reps and forced negatives with 16 or 20 or 30 sets for their biceps every Friday. That's what they're going to end up doing unless you go ahead and program it, because they're stupid. I mean, young men are stupid. We were all stupid at that age. We just don't know any better because we're too young and inexperienced to know that we're young and inexperienced at that point. So they're going to do silly shit like that if you don't actually program the curls in a structured manner for them. You need to go ahead and do that. That's just my opinion, my experience working with this demographic. All right, guys, so that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.